Hey guys, Martin here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we're going to be doing the EZA team building guide for the Blue KAIOKEN Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta, who are getting their EZA over on the JP side. Basically, when this video comes out at 10 PM UK time, the EZA will be coming out in 10 hours, so 8 AM UK time. That's midnight PST, 3 AM EST. Is going to be a typical LR EZA, so 10 stages, each stage giving you 3 stones for completion, so you get 30 in total. And LR EZAs always have a mission for stage 7, it's just beat stage 7, get 3 stones, so it'll be 33 stones in total. You get 5 of the physical Grand Kais, so you can get them straight to SA25. You obviously get all the medals, and you get some physical orbs as well for the hidden potential. So just like any LR EZA, there is a weakness category, which is Realm of Gods. This means characters in this category take less damage. When it comes to doing damage to the boss, you want to focus on the legendary power link. So you want to have as many LRs on the team as possible, and then when they have legendary power active, they will do more damage. Now, it is possible to complete LR EZAs with a full team of TURs. Have done it before, it just takes a little bit longer because you're not getting that bonus damage. So you do want to try and make sure you're running a Realm of Gods team. You can brute force through these LR EZAs sometimes with just a strong LR team. So like, for example, the LR GT duo from the 8th anniversary, they're not a Realm of Gods unit, but they are STR. So they're going to do a lot of damage to the Blue KAIOKEN Goku and Evo Vegeta with their super attacks. But then if they don't kill him, they're going to take large damage from his attacks because they're not in the Realm of Gods category. So we'll go through the units here. As always with my team building guides, I will go through my top picks and honorable mentions. If there's any characters you think I missed out or should have talked more about, do let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, if you find the guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, starting out, we do have our boy from the Worldwide Celebration, the LR Zamasu. He leads Realm of Gods as well as Worldwide Chaos, Future Fused Fighters, and then gets Time Travelers or Final Trump card an extra 30%. So you can make a full 200% team with him, with other Zamasus, Goku Blacks, a few other units as well. Because he has Fused Fighters and Time Travelers, you can also have like the Vegeta Blues on there as well. So this guy's team can be very, very good for making a full Realm of Gods, full LR team, a lot of whom will be getting the 200% leader skill, so he will be able to get through this event quite quickly, right? Early on, when he has his full damage reduction, he's going to be pretty much an invincible slot 1 tank in the first couple of turns, because EZAs are not the hardest hitting events in the world as long as you're using the right category characters. So he'll be perfectly fine to tank in slot 1, and then with legendary power active, especially if he takes some hits in slot 1 to get that attack build up, he is going to be doing a lot of damage himself. So definitely a very, very good option. We do also have, of course, the EZA UI Goku on JP, who leads Realm of Gods for 150%. So it's a bit much lower leader skill, but obviously still has the full Realm of Gods category available to him under his leader skill. So you could use this guy as a lead. Even if you're not using him as a leader, which I imagine most people probably will go for a 170 if they have one, this guy absolutely should be on the team. He's got type advantage, he's in the category, he's an LR, he's got the crazy high like dodge chance. His EZA was obviously very, very good, so he will be a very good and very effective unit in this event. Absolutely a go-to character, even if you're not going to use him as the leader. Then, of course, we have the Blue Goku and Vegeta from the Worldwide Celebration. Now, whilst they don't lead Realm of Gods specifically, they lead Battle of Fate, Future Saga, or Power Beyond Super Saiyan, which encompasses a lot of Realm of Gods characters, and then Realm of Gods is their plus 30% as well as Time Travelers, so any Realm of Gods characters fitting under their initial 3 leads are going to be getting the full 200% leader skill from them anyway. So these guys are a very good option. They are a good slot 1 defensive unit. They don't do as much damage as someone like Zamasu, and the event's not going to go on long enough really for you to get Vegeta Blue to come out. But these guys will be a very good leader skill. They link very well with the other God Saiyan units if you're going to be bringing any of those. So I would say these guys are a very good go-to unit for this team, as well as a strong leader option as well. Being that they have guard, decent defense in slot 1, the dodge, definitely very, very effective. Then also, I should mention, as a free-to-play option, we of course have the blue Vegito here, the prime, well, he's not prime bow, is he? The just free-to-play LR from the story mode, I guess. He's a super class lead for 4 key and 120. So as a free-to-play player, if you don't have any of the summonable like Realm of Gods leaders or anyone we've talked about, you can use him. And then obviously using a character like Zamasu, well, Zamasu won't get his leader skill, so I guess you'd ideally want to use the blue boys. He would obviously get their 200% lead, they would be getting his lead, and then you can build the team that way. So good free-to-play option. I don't know if I would bring him on the team if I was running a full like summonable team, like with my box on global, for example. But at the same time, he is an LR with type advantage, and if you're running a lot of like the God Saiyan characters, he will fit into that team quite nicely. So he could actually be decent on the team as the 6th option if you can't decide who to put on and you'd rather have another LR than bring a TUR, right? So he could be solid. Now, speaking of TURs, this guy is worth considering as the leader of the team, or even just a unit on the team if you don't want to run a full LR build, because obviously his leader skill, Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, and then he has Power of Wishes or Exploding Rage for the plus 30. You can make a full 200% team out of him using a lot of the God Saiyans and characters like that. So even though he's only a TUR, so you miss out on Legendary Power, remember the more TURs you have on the team, the more likely you are to get a rotation where you only have one LR and then that LR can't get Legendary Power active. So that's something you have to think about with the team building for these LR EZAs. But obviously he's a fantastic unit, very powerful, very good leader skill, worth running on the team even if not as the leader, if you don't want to run a full LR build. I think for the sake of like speed of getting through the event, I would just use a full LR team. But if you're somebody that has this guy with dupes and link leveled and everything, obviously he's going to be very, very effective. Now, the one thing to bear in mind, of course, is that in EZAs, one of the only events left in the game where you can't use same name characters, another option is the Tech God Goku, who... I'm not sure where I put his, is it here? Yeah, there you go. Tech God Goku. You can't use both of them on the team at the same time. But Tech God Goku, because we're fighting a pure Saiyan enemy, has his 77% damage reduction. So this guy is just an absolute wall of a slot 1 tank. And then if you had him as the only TUR on the team, you're never going to get into a situation where you can't get Legendary Power active. And then this guy just sits in slot 1 and tanks all of the hits. So I would say if you are running a mostly LR team, but you need to run a TUR or you need to have a better defensive unit, I would just run this guy, because in this specific EZA, then obviously he is going to be, you know, basically an invincible defensive unit. So I would run him instead of the physical one, most likely. Then, of course, had the page up for a moment there. We have the new Gogeta himself. If you have him, obviously, what really do we need to say? He's busted. He's super good. You are probably not going to see him transform because EZA fights are quite short. Even if you floated him off on turn 1, maybe you'll get to turn 4 and get to transform. You won't see his taunt. He has movie heroes as a lead. There are a few like Realm of Gods characters. You can make a full movie heroes Realm of Gods team. It won't be the best version of the team, and you might not have as many LRs. So I probably wouldn't go down that route personally, unless you have to, based on what you have available in your box. But on the team, he will definitely be absolutely insane. Like, you get him Legendary Power active, get the Rainbow Orb so he's doing multiple supers, and he'll probably just solo the first couple of stages all by himself anyway. So definitely a very, very strong option to bring for this event if you pulled him. Then, of course, we have the old school, the LR Gods from the 7th anniversary. They lead Power Beyond Super Saiyan or movie heroes, so they can very easily make a Realm of Gods team. They have Guard on the first turn, which is useful for shorter events like this. They can get the additional super with enough key. They have the God Links. Just like Gogeta, they can transform on turn 4 if you get that far. Probably not going to be very likely, but the good thing with them, you can transform on turn 4, and then if the boss has less than half their health left, which by turn 4 they really should, you can then immediately use their active skill and just end the fight right there by finishing off the boss. So these guys definitely good if you are going that route of running a lot of the God Saiyan characters, because whilst they might start to be getting a little bit outdated in the new hardest content in the game, for EZAs they will absolutely be fine. So they're definitely a top unit to bring as well. Then we have the STR Gogeta. I mean, should go without saying really. Type advantage, is an LR in the category. If you want, you can just put him in slot 3 so that he gets the dodging. Even without that, he'll be good enough defensively, as long as he's not, well, he's not a slot 1 unit, but you can keep him on rotation, have him in slot 2, and then he'll be perfectly fine defensively, do some decent damage. Again, he's another unit that transforms on turn 4, so you're not going to see his full potential in this event, but he's still going to be very, very good anyway. So I would say, especially because he's STR, he's one of the top picks for the team, right? Then we have the Tech, Goku Black, and Zamasu. So this is obviously more for if you're going down the Zamasu route. Because, you know, if you're going down mostly the Saiyan route, you're not going to have as many characters, you know, other characters with things like Big Bad Bosses, Nightmare, so on and so forth. They do have Prepared for Battle, and most importantly, they have Legendary Power. So if you're running Zamasu either as your leader or as a friend, then these guys, of course, can be on the team to go on a rotation with him, and then they will be able to do a lot of damage together. These guys have guard for 3 turns, which, as we've already covered, will span most of an EZA event anyway. So these guys will be a definitely strong option if you're going the more extreme route. So then we have the Blue Kaioken Goku. So there's not a lot of Universe Survival Saga allies on this team, unless, of course, you want to be bringing the STR UI Goku. I didn't mention the AGL UI Goku in this build video, because obviously he doesn't have his EZA yet, but you could get away with running him with the 70% chance to dodge. He's not going to do crazy damage compared to the rest of the team, but he is another LR. But, of course, we did mention the STR UI Goku, who is very good. So he can be the Universe Survival Saga ally for this guy, get his additional attack. It's not like he even needs to have the guard because we're fighting a physical enemy. So he could do pretty well. If you get those additional supers off, he could do some decent damage. It's obviously just the fact he's a TUR. We're getting into some like TURs that are worth mentioning at this point now that we've covered most of the LRs. I haven't covered any of the INT units because whilst they can still do damage, because LR EZAs don't usually get that type, you know, a certain typing gets massive damage reduction. It's more so the fact you don't want to prioritize them, because without critting, they're not going to do crazy damage. And of course, if they get hit, especially with a super, they're going to have type disadvantage. So we haven't really mentioned any INT units during this build, but obviously there's LRs like the LR Rose, the LR Zamasu. But yeah, this guy, very strong at TUR, can definitely do a lot of damage. You're not going to be able to get the Spirit Bomb unless you are going for... you'd have to run like STR UI Goku, AGL UI Goku, maybe like Evolution Vegeta, because you can't run the physical free-to-play UI Goku and the STR one because they have the same name. So you're probably not going to get the Spirit Bomb at any point, but he can still be very good, still worth using if you're running mostly God Saiyans on the team. He can fit in quite nicely. We have the God Vegeta, who again, he fits under that Movie Heroes umbrella if you're using one of those leaders. He's not the best, right? He obviously didn't get as good an EZA as the Tech God Goku, but for this event specifically against a physical boss that requires a Realm of Gods team, he definitely could be effective on the team overall. Not a top pick by any stretch, but an honourable mention for sure. Then, of course, we have Beerus. Now, he is a Realm of Gods leader for 170. You could put him on the team. I guess I forgot to mention the STR Beerus and Whis, but running them as a combo is a bit awkward because you want legendary power for Beerus and Whis. You could put Beerus in slot 1. He does get that damage reduction before he attacks. Then have LR Beerus and Whis in slot 2 and another LR in slot 3. And then that could actually be a very effective rotation. There is a Realm of Gods enemy, so he'll be changing orbs to rainbow, which helps him out for getting his full passive. Can help other people on the team as well. So Beerus can definitely be a strong contender for a worthwhile TUR, especially if you're going to run him with the LR Beerus and Whis, who don't really fit into the team super well just by themselves, but if you are going to run Beerus, they could obviously work as well. Then we have Whis, STR Whis. You could run him with the Beerus. He has the built-in dodge chance. If there is a Beerus, he gets some buffs as well as some HP recovery, so he's a decent unit to run alongside Beerus or Beerus and Whis as well, so that can work quite nicely. Then we have the AGL Zamasu, so if we're going more towards the extreme build again, this guy of course works really well with the other Zamasu characters, has damage reduction, will transform into the Fusion Zamasu on the next turn, which is where he's usually at his most effective, 50% damage reduction, recovering HP. He can be very, very good. The extreme side of the team can look pretty solid as well, because we have units like Meki Kabura from the Heroes celebration. He's going to EZA this year. I really can't wait to see what he does, but he could definitely be very good in this event, especially with some orb changes. He's a big nuker. He can be very good, recover a lot of HP as well. We also have the STR Rose, so if you want to run him instead of the INT LR, because you can't run them both. This guy at least has the type advantage. He's giving support to all allies for the extreme side if you want to run that more Zamasu focused team, so he could actually be quite effective. We also have the Dark King Fu. There's a few good heroes units for this. Obviously, if he's picking up the STR orbs, he's buffing everybody, he's getting dodge. He can definitely be very, very good in the team as well. And then, of course, our boy. They just keep buffing my man right here with all these events that we're getting. So this EZA, we're fighting against an enemy whose name includes Goku, so he can get the additional super. And then if you somehow manage to get to turn 5 and he transforms into full power, then we're fighting against an enemy whose name includes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan as well. So he gets his full passive. So all these new events from the anniversary really are feasting for this Goku. He is Goku Black. He's doing so well against all these new bosses with his full passive being active. So you definitely can make an interesting looking sort of heroes team as well if you wanted to go full heroes. But yeah, obviously he wants crossover allies for his guard, which isn't super necessary, but Fu wants crossover allies for his orb changing. Meki Cabra is a unit we already mentioned. Like, you could run a few heroes units, and all three of these guys are on Zamasu's 200% team. So you can make a very good team with some heroes. You're obviously just missing out on legendary power. So that's the overview of the category. Like I said, I probably should have mentioned Beerus and Whis, because even without another Beerus or Whis unit, they could still be pretty good. I guess this free-to-play, like, Zamasu Goku is... he's pretty bad, he's quite old, but he's got type advantage. In terms of like free-to-play option, he could be okay, I guess. But yeah, Realm of Gods has a few other interesting options, like base Goku Black, some of these other angels, the AGL Gogeta, but of course he shares a name with the new LR. God Trunks is another heroes unit if you want to run a bunch of heroes. You could do a full heroes build with like Super Saiyan 3 Rose as the leader, and then have God Trunks. You could even have the Berserk controlled Vegeta. That definitely could be done. It would just be a little bit harder than some of the other ones. Again, we didn't mention really any int units because it's kind of moot. Jiren with his EZA, lol. Topo as a support unit could be pretty good as well, just there to provide buffs to the other LRs, right? If you're running 2 rotations of 2 LRs, so they get legendary power, and then he can be there to buff them. Gowasu and Zamasu, actually good floating support unit for buffing defense as well. Weirus as an orb changer, the physical UI if you want to buff. I mean, he's only really useful if you're bringing like AGL UI and Blue Kaioken, but not STR UI, because he is at least supporting them. But there you go. So that's the Realm of Gods category. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Like I said, if you think there's any units I missed out or should have talked more about, do let me know in the comments, and let me know what your team build is going to look like for the Blue Kaioken Goku and Blue Evolution Vegeta Extreme Z battle. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.